place to sit. We had our, just some of our singers standing up and trying to surround you in sound. Surround sound. Surround sound spirituality, that's what we have on Wednesday nights. I'm Reverend Kathy Ann Lewis. For those of you that don't know me, I'm so grateful that we have a bunch of guests here. And it's my pleasure to just acknowledge that before you gathered in this place, the singers and the prayer team, some of our ministers, Reverend Harold and Reverend Deborah Gay, we all just formed a circle and just said that what we want to have in this room is a sense that we can reach out, touch the hearts and hands of others, and create a greater country than we've ever had before. Yeah. So that's the intention of this evening. What I will say is that our divisiveness and division and separation has gotten unbearable. And so we fall into crisis, and that's the best place to find the inner power that we have. Because if we're just trucking along, sometimes we forget to really allow ourselves to dive into something else and let it fill us. So this service, this time together, and I don't know if you'd really call it a service, this time together is really about finding our place in the revelation of wholeness for our country. Our place, your place in that revelation. I want to acknowledge that Rabbi Tad Falcon will be participating, and so will Imam Jamal Raham. I did this good. I've been practicing, and I'm still not good enough, but I'm so grateful that you're both here. Thank you. And also, we have some of the prayer team here, and that will just be inserting at different times along with music. If you hear a song that after the first 3 refrains you want to sing along with, please feel free to sing along, because that's why we planned it that way. So that this isn't a spectator time, this is a participatory time. And right now I'd like to turn the attention to practitioner, Reverend, who knew? Practitioner Heather Weldon, who will give us our opening. So let's take a collective deep breath in. Breath in as one. And go within to that place, out beyond ideas of right and wrong. There is a field, and I'll meet you there. That field is right here. That field is right now. That one life, known by so many names, is right where each of us is. That field is this field, the field within and without. That one life, the life that we call God, the life that we call spirit, the life that we call love. We turn to that now. We simply turn off the news of the day, and return our attention to God, to within, and listen for that voice of truth. That voice of truth with a capital T. And from that place, that field, is where we open our hearts and begin our time together and get ready to receive. And with that, I call our time blessed. I call our time
perfect and by divine appointment. So we let it be, and we let it unfold in all its glory. And so it is.
So when Reverend Kathy Ann called me to invite me to share this moment with her and with you, like her, I imagined this would be a very different moment. But I was delighted with the invitation. I'm grateful to be here. I'm reminded of a story of a Zen farmer. Well, actually, I don't know if the farmer was Zen. It's a Zen story of a farmer. A farmer who only had one horse, and his neighbors commiserated with him because he only had one horse to do all the work in his farm. And when he heard their commiserations, he shrugged his shoulders and he said, maybe. And one night, the farmer failed to close the corral gate securely, and he got up in the morning and the horse was gone. And his neighbors came and said, oh, what a terrible thing. Your only horse is gone. And the farmer shrugged his shoulders and said, maybe. And the next day, that horse returned with a whole bunch of wild horses and led them into the corral. And the neighbors came with great excitement and said, wow, this is so wonderful. This is so great. And the farmer shrugged his shoulders and said, maybe. And the next day, the farmer's son, his only son, got onto one of the wild horses to try to tame it. And he got thrown off and he broke his leg. And the farmer's neighbors came and said, what a terrible thing. And the farmer said, maybe. And the next day, soldiers came through the town conscripting all the healthy young men. But they couldn't take the farmer's son because he had just broken his leg. And the neighbors said, what a wonderful thing. And the farmer shrugged his shoulders and said, maybe. I actually would like to be like that farmer. And I would like to greet the energies of last night and today with a shrug of the shoulders and greet my own feelings of grief and anguish with maybe. But the part of me that walks the planet can't always do that. And so I find myself grieving. I find myself grieving for a country, the character of which has demonstrated itself to be different than what I had thought. So I'm grieving for a vision. And I'm grieving with all those among us who feel a loss. And to tell you the truth, I'm also grieving for the winners. I'm grieving for the anger. I'm grieving for the fear that is always encapsulated by that anger. And I'm grieving for the disillusionment which is bound when they discover that all the great promises and all the great caring that they have been offered cannot possibly emerge as they are thinking. I grieve for all of us who are aware at this moment of a greater level of discord, separation, fragmentation in our country than we've ever been aware of before. But I also have a belief. I believe that the universe announces to us our greater purpose. And I believe that the events that are unfolding now reveal for us the purpose that's calling us to a greater awareness, that's calling us to a greater sensitivity, that's calling us to a greater conversation with those with whom we have been unable to communicate, that's calling us to reach out more fully, to appreciate our own tribes, to revel in the songs of our tribes, but to become willing to sing some of the songs of other tribes and to reach beyond those with whom we agree. As one of the Interfaith Amigos, we have a little strategy with which we begin conversations with those whose beliefs are so far different from our own. We say, is there anything I could tell you that would change your mind? And that usually kind of stuns somebody. And we say, no, really, is there anything I could tell you that would change your mind? And when they're honest, they'll say, no. And I'll say, okay, imagine it's the same for me. Now let's talk. Because as long as we frame our conversations with the motivation of changing someone else's mind, we're lost to begin with. But to get clear that we aren't going to do that and that we can't do that allows us the possibility to meet each other as human beings and to bridge the abyss by honoring our shared humanity, by honoring the issues that are important in our lives, the concerns that all of us have, the yearnings and the fears. Not to convince another, but to meet another. Because that allows us to reclaim the civility that we have lost as a country. That allows us to reach across the chasms that have allowed us to dehumanize each other and to demonize each other. I actually think that what we have seen is a demonstration of the power of belief. I think we have witnessed someone who has believed so strongly that he is convinced a major part of our country. And it reminds us of something that we teach, the power of consciousness and the power of belief. So what's the difference? The difference is that we have witnessed the utilization of the power of consciousness on behalf of the ego, on behalf of self-aggrandizement. And that can never help. So it reminds us not only of the power of consciousness and the power of belief, but the requirement to utilize that consciousness that flows through us, to utilize our belief in the service of a common good, to set our intentions and to set our goals on that which serves us all, to translate the golden rule into a golden reality, where we treat each other as we would wish to be treated, because we understand that the one who looks at me through your eyes and the one who looks at you through my eyes is the same one. That we share a common presence, we share a common life, and to support one another supports us all, and to bring harm and pain to another brings harm and pain to us all. There's a Hanukkah song written by Peter Yarrow of Peter, Paul, and Mary fame. And it ends, "Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine. Let it shine through our love and our tears." Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. My favorite blessing in my tradition is a blessing for the moment. It's a blessing that reaffirms the meaning of each moment. Baruch atah Adonai, blessed are you, Holy One of all being. Eloheinu melech haolam, you are the one who awakens within each and every one of us as the life of our life. You are the universal creative presence. Shehechianu, you are the one who holds us in life always. There's nowhere else to be. V'kiyamanu, you are the one who supports our unique unfolding. You support us becoming the special, unique individual we are meant to become, as we seek to share that universal presence in our own unique ways. V'higianu lazman hazeh. Holy One, you have brought us to this very moment for blessing. So I'd just like to remind you for a moment that the true prayer for healing arises within your hearts and within your minds. The true prayer for peace is a recognition of the incredible wholeness and completeness of your being, and an appreciation that that wholeness and that completeness arises within each and every being we meet. In my tradition, we conclude our worship with these words. Oseh Shalom B'Romav, you who make peace, make wholeness in the high places. The high places are the places of consciousness. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, may that one allow that peace to manifest through us, to support us, to support all people, and to support our planet. let the peace we are provide the bridge of healing we need. And as you would say, and so it is.
So this is a very simple chant, and we'll do Shalom. There's 4 different parts you can pick apart, or you can just sing Shalom and say it. Introduce Robert Comstock. I just realized I think I've been here 28 years, and I remember you from the very beginning. So you've been around for 28 years, and he's finally decided to become a prayer practitioner. So here's Robert's prayer.
There's only one life, and that is the life of God. That life that God is absolute, pure, perfect love. The love that passes all understanding. That love is all powerful. It is all knowing love. That love that God is everywhere present at all times. That love that God is created life perfectly, divinely. That is the truth of life, that God is absolute, pure, perfect love. As I know this to be the truth of God, I now know that I am pure, perfect love in human form. As I know this to be true for myself, I know this to be true for each and every one of us here. And now, that we are perfect love. Love in form, love in expression, absolute, pure, perfect love we are. I speak my all-powerful word that we move through life as this divine love that we are in full expression, shining forth unto all that we encounter. For this is the truth of our being. We are perfect, pure love in individualized form, unique expression. We now express this pure, holy love everywhere, all powerfully, all knowingly, everywhere at all times. I am absolutely grateful for this knowing of absolute truth that we all are. I am so grateful. I release and I let go, knowing that this is the truth, and so it is.
So it is. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. Open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only
My dear friends, what joy and honor it is to be here with my Interfaith amigo and my Interfaith amiga. A new group, Interfaith amigos and amiga. Wonderful. My friend, I will also thank some of you who have sent me emails this morning saying that if you as a Muslim, you need help, please know I can help you, and my house is your sanctuary. I thank you for that. And a couple of you send me emails saying if you're asked to register as a Muslim, please know I will also register as a Muslim. That was beautiful. My friends, last night was a historic moment, a unique moment, and also a very bizarre moment. Uniquely bizarre or bizarrely unique, I don't know which one, but it was very strange also. It gave rise to many thoughts and feelings. And I'm the kind of person who does processing by talking to myself compassionately. I call myself Brother Jamal. And then I remember certain verses or words, and I love to meditate on that. So as the evening was going on, that simple cliched statement came, wow, Brother Jamal, fact is certainly more strange than fiction, it's true. And I began to have what Sufis call a movement from knowledge of the tongue to knowledge of the heart about that. And then when I was questioning, analyzing, I remembered Rumi's famous utterance, sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. And I began to ask, why are so many people voting in this way? And I remember not to do too much of internal talk, and I remembered the Quranic verse that says, when there is chronic anger and fear, it's not that the eyes become blind, the hearts become blind. And then when the results came, there was an outcome, I told myself, my God, this is really like a cosmic joke. What is going on? And then I remembered the Quranic verse, of knowledge we have given you but a little. Everything is part of a larger story. And of course, Rumi's verse, oh dear heart, never lose hope. Miracles dwell in the invisible. Even if the whole world turns against you, please keep your eyes on the friend. be in regular attendance at the divine court. So it began to dwell on me that, like Brother Ted was saying, maybe this is an invitation to really make America great again, but through the spiritual path. In the Quran, there's a verse that in everybody's life, there'll come a forking of the road. Two paths. And one is what is called the easy path. And the Quran says, Jamal, you took the easy path. Why did you not take the other path? And that's the path of the steep incline. And that is the spiritual path. We're being asked, as custodians of spirituality, to really live our spiritual insights and practices. To live them. So today, if I ask myself, what can I do from a spiritual perspective? The first thing is, may I truly honor all my difficult feelings, my anger, my sadness, my pain, my resentment. These are all energies, sacred energies, begging to be acknowledged and healed. Carl Jung, who studied many Eastern traditions, he would say, would you once in your life have the grace and the courage to kiss the demons and dragons within you? That's how they turn into a prince or princess. Secondly, may I do this difficult spiritual work of becoming aware of my biases and prejudices, not yours. May I shine the light of awareness on them, and the light of awareness is going to diminish those shadows. Prophet Muhammad said, know thyself, and you shall know thy sustainer. The Buddha said, know others, you become wise. Know yourself, you become enlightened. Then, as my brother also said, may I do this difficult work, which is really critical at this time, to come to know the other on a human level. Can I share 3 cups of tea? Listen, respect, connect. Because if I do that, if I really connect, and we just share human stories, remember that wonderful saying, the universe is not made out of atoms, it's made out of stories. If I really connect on a human level, then I can no longer now dehumanize the other. And then even if differences exist now, because I know you on a human level, now it no longer looms as a threat. And thirdly, it somehow creates the space where we can collaborate in spite of our differences on issues dear to both of our hearts, social justice issues and earth care. Now some will say, that's nice, Jamal, but what if the other person is adversarial? And here the great sages say, please know this. When you come to know the other, make a discernment between behavior and being. The great sage Kabir, for example, he says, please do what is right. Don't allow yourself to be abused. Protect yourself. But I beg you, as you take the right action, please do not keep this other person's being or essence out of your heart. That person's being is Christ nature, Buddha nature, Allah nature, Elohim nature. And just keeping this discernment in my mind and heart, as I take the right action, the sages say, has the power to shift heaven and earth. My friends, close your eyes for a few seconds. And focus on your nostril. And just be present with your breath as you inhale and as you exhale. And now, please give yourself permission to feel the difficult feeling you're experiencing. Anger, disappointment, sadness. It's energy. For purposes of healing, allow yourself to feel it, to taste it, to experience it. Rumi says, I know this might be difficult, but this is the process by which something opens and lifts my wings. Give yourself permission to experience it, and then begin to ask yourself, where in my body do I feel these sensations? Because every feeling has a corresponding physical sensation in the body. Locate it. And after you've located it, please enfold it with your consciousness as you would enfold a loved one. Just be with that feeling in that physical holding. Rumi says, tremble with it. There is no need to fix it, no need to analyze it, but a great need to be present with it, with affection. If it moves, move with it. And then, in the Sufi tradition, focus again on that physical holding. Ask it a question humbly and sincerely. Do you have a message for me? I'm willing to listen. Do you have a secret for me? And just be present with it. The next question, last question. Humbly, lovingly, how may I love you? How may I befriend you? How may I love you? And then the last step is, as you focus on this physical holding, breathe in and out, but inhale and exhale through this part of you. Feel the divine breath caressing you there as you breathe in and out through that part of you. And now let go of that. I'm going to end with a Quranic recitation, a prayer where we beg God, you are the most compassionate of the compassionate. Please guide all of us on the straight path to you. Please, you God, come into the center of our life. Please join me with your eyes closed in chanting Hu. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Thank you. One of the amazing things of our partnership is that when we listen to each other, we remember things in our own tradition. We remember things we wanted to say. You need to know something about this date. November 9th in 1938 was Kristallnacht. This was the night of shattered glass, in which thousands of synagogues and Jewish homes were wrecked. It was the beginning of what later was called the final solution. And November 9th in 1989 is the date that the Berlin Wall fell. This is the kind of world we live in. We are the connectors of those moments of extraordinary anguish and those moments of extraordinary hope, extraordinary vision, extraordinary healing. And our task is to be present for both. Thank you, Brother Jamal.
Guess it's me. I'm saying notes. So when I called 2 weeks ago, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, knowing that we were going to have three times of prayer around this election, before, during, so there was meditation and prayer going on here yesterday, and then after. I have to admit that I honestly thought, because I believed the polls and stuff, that this would be a different kind of group, because I know who most of my group is. And I'm doing the same talk I was going to do then, because it's still the same thing. I was going to ask the group to reach out in love and extend hearts and hands to those people who may not have been in agreement, and I'm still going to do that. Because I think spiritual people are on the edge. We are the edge of spiritual, well, it's going to look like human evolution, but it's spiritual evolution. Spiritual people are on the edge. Those people who get spiritual insights are the ones that can conceive of a new world and bring it into being. I think our founding fathers were somewhat flawed in some ways, and yet they got these spiritual downloads that they could actually bring democracy back to the planet after it had been dead for thousands of years, and it only had been experimented with a little bit in Greece, in ancient Greece. There's spiritual downloads for people having equal rights, spiritual downloads for the end of apartheid. We've not only just seen the demolishment of the Berlin Wall, we've also seen
peace break out in places. And I believe that happens because of something that is happening spiritually. No, not religiously necessarily, but spiritually. Like something grabs you and you just have a bigger idea of what we could be. So this is what I was going to say, and this is what I am going to say. I believe that you're here because you're being called to be a spiritual leader. See, this is all about leaders. Get over it. That's our problem. We put way too much attention, power, and expectation on a leader and how they are to be. Not just we in this room, but I bet you do, but our nation. What if we owned that we can be what we've been looking for? That we can be leaders in this evolutionary cycle. If we're going to be leaders, I'm going to ask you to do, if you choose to be, because I think you are, just check inside. I love it. Jamal asked you to check inside. Oh, and by the way, I'm so grateful that you brought that up because I was wrestling with something today and something really bugged me, and what I realized is it was the unhealed part of myself. And I don't know that I would have ever seen that shadow to ask the light to take it away if this hadn't happened. So if I'm a freer person and my soul doesn't have that caca in it anymore, you know, this is a sanctuary, you can't say shit. Then praise God. So I think that we're being asked to be a leader, and I'm grateful for the healing that has happened, and this is what I would have said to everyone. I think that if we are going to be spiritual leaders and we're going to shift things from the ground up, because when the people change, the walls come down. When the people change, the walls come down. We cannot legislate civility or compassion. And we don't have a Berlin Wall, we have another weird wall. A wall of not listening to each other. A wall of looking for what's wrong instead of seeing what we have in common. If that wall is going to come down, then spiritual leaders will do 5 things. The first one is they'll commit to taking the high road always. Now, this was going to be easier when I thought you were all going to be self-righteous with yourselves. But there's still the high wall. I have relatives, I have a husband who did not vote the way I did. And if I don't like how things turn out, I have to take the high road. If I want to be the leader in consciousness that I want to see in the world. From the book of Ruth. Maybe you have come for such a time as this. So you commit to that. You commit to taking the high road. You commit to protecting and including others and speaking out when others are marginalized. Wow. See, it would be better if the government would just, do it, wouldn't it? It will happen when we happen. So, you know what? If you have to register as a Muslim, I'm in too. Now, wouldn't that be funny if all of Washington was Muslim? Yeah, take your little blue selves and do something with it, right? Commit to finding a higher purpose, which is what God's saying the same thing, and it's speaking 3 different ways. Commit to finding a higher purpose in this. Viktor Frankl, what's the meaning? You make the meaning. Search for a meaning that will make this worthwhile and live it.
Do not let this crisis, this heartache, this bad time be for naught. Make it be really fertile soil. I can say shit because I got 4 horses. I know shit. And I'll tell you, everywhere we put it in the fields, there are mushrooms growing like crazy. This is fertile time for something really good to start growing in us. Because we can become complacent when it's easy, can't we? I know I can. Something that I am asking myself is, what action can I take for the greater good for everyone? And what I came up with is, as a little, slogan for myself is, how can love use me today? Because what can happen is, if we feel hurt, we feel betrayed, we feel ununderstood, we feel like we're out of place, our heart can start to close, and that's not a good place to live, and it hurts. So the new affirmation for me has to be, how can love use me today? Commitment number 4, honor the spirit within all, and sure enough, you talked about it. To truly just like, maybe I don't like this action, but you know what? If I believe that there's one living presence and it expresses through all of creation, how in the world can I believe it's not expressing through them too? And guess what? We all act out. So I want to train myself to see the spirit and not judge by the acting out. Because I've acted out. Anybody not acted out? Ever? See? Good. We're all in the same boat. The last thing to commit to is look for me, and if we're going to be spiritual leaders on this edge of a new creation, which is the creation of what I want to hold as a vision, and that is a United States of America, is I must look for similarity and not differences. I live in Snohomish County. After a while, I just stopped listening to the news. But I knew what happened because rockets were going off. Bombs bursting in air for a very long time. I have a gentleman that drives down my street with a huge Confederate flag flapping in the back. It would be so easy for me to say, Confederate flag, are you kidding me? Instead, I walked over and introduced myself and said, my husband and I are your neighbors. And I met his little boy. And he loves that child. We have a lot in common. I want to create a new world. And I believe you're here because there's a part of you that wants to too. So this is fertile ground for that. This is fertile ground. Now, the thing that was mentioned, and I just want to reiterate that, is that when I noticed why I was upset, I noticed what in me wasn't healed. Again. Oh, no, it's actually something new. I bet there's a bunch of them in there. I will just come from my tradition, which is not necessarily Christian as in the followings of Jesus, but my desire to live as the Christ. And what I know is that Christ could go anywhere, listen to anything, and embrace everything. And it's just a platitude until I'm really asked to do it. And I have a funny feeling you came here through traffic in the dark to do something similar in your own tradition and in your own words. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Thank you. I lose more things like that. I want to invite up our, I'm glad, it took me 65 years to have to wear readers, so I feel like I'm doing good. So it's now time for our offering, and if you would like to support this message being in the world and having these kinds of times together of healing, we invite you to support us that way. And I'm going to invite up Karen Cleveland, and what I said last Wednesday was she's almost Karen Cleveland, because what I really wanted to say is that she's almost Reverend Karen Cleveland, but I lost the Reverend part. So Karen will lead us in our blessing.
All right, I'd like to invite the ushers to come up. And I'd love to invite also, please, the practitioners, if you could come up and stand and hold the consciousness of love and peace with us up here as we bless the offering. Well, whoever would like to come up, please. We are a powerful prayer group, and so I love to have everyone here holding this gratitude and peace. So I stand here in gratitude myself for every person in this room, knowing that everyone here has the love and peace within them. And therefore, I give my word of blessing for every person in this room. I bless your gift, for your gift in turn blesses this community. And our community can bless so much more. So I am grateful. I'm grateful for every person and for everyone we represent. And so it is.
To invite anyone that needs a little extra prayer over here in the corner immediately following the service. There'll be practitioners here. We can have a prayer circle. We'd love to support you in whatever you need. This is a prayer for my country by Ernest Holmes. Believing in the divine destiny of the United States of America and in the preservation of liberty, security, and self-expression for all, I offer this, my prayer for my country. I know the divine intelligence governs the destiny of the United States of America, directing the thought and the activity of all who guide its affairs.
success, prosperity, and happiness are gifts of freedom and the divine heritage of everyone in this country, that they are now operating in the affairs of every individual in this country. I know that divine guidance enlightens the collective mind of the people of this country, causing you to know that economic security may come to all without the loss of either personal freedom or individual self-expression. I know that no one can believe or be led to believe that personal freedom must be surrendered in order to ensure economic security for all. The all-knowing mind contains the answer to every problem which confronts this country. I know that every leader in this country is now directed by this all-knowing mind and has the knowledge of a complete solution to every problem. Each is impelled to act upon this knowledge to the end that abundance, security, and peace shall come to all. And I know that this spiritual democracy shall endure, guaranteeing everyone in this country personal liberty, happiness, and self-expression.
I stand here in the truth that there is only love. It is expressed through every single person here, in this country, and in this world, because God is all there is. Tonight, my friend Kim said, common unity for community. And I thought, what a lovely idea. There is a common unity, and it's God. And so I let go of my idea of right and wrong. And I meet my higher self, the self that knows the truth all the time. I meet myself there. Sister Jerry, won't you come and play? We leave tonight blessed for these words, for these solutions to our pain and our fear. I let go tonight. I walk out healed, and so it is.
If you feel so moved to stand as we end our service tonight, the song is I Send My Love. Let's send our love